Hello everyone and hello students. Today we'll be discussing about concept testing methods. So initially what we have seen that we are going to identify multiple problems from the user and then take one of these problem as our main focus, and then we are going to in problem understanding stage, we have done analysis of the problem from various perspectives, especially from user's perspective. There are various methods which can be used, and we have used one of the methods. And then when the problem understanding is done, we have gone to the product specification document, that is PDS. So initially the problem which the designer, which the consumers will be telling, sometimes it is vague. So in product specification document, we have seen how this vague statement can be converted into very technical specific requirements. So once we have these requirements in place, we can use various kind of techniques, especially brainstorming, synergy trees, gallery method, to generate a lot of ideas. So we have generated a lot of ideas, and then once the ideas are generated in concept selection and concept evaluation phase, we have evaluated the ideas using various methods or any method which we wanted to use. In that case, the main purpose is to evaluate the ideas with respect to the requirement and select the best idea which is most suitable for this kind of problem, especially for the customers. It's not easy, but then we have done it. However, at this stage, we might have one or two of the ideas that we know it is pretty good from the customer point of view. However, we want to actually see this testing. We want to actually see this product, it is really being liked by the users or not. So for that, what we need to do? We need to take feedback from the user. So in concept testing phase, development team, that is the designers and the engineers and other managers, they seek feedback of the product or the idea from the potential customer. In general, they will make a mock-up, they will make virtual model, maybe they will make actual prototype, scale prototype. There are several ways to do it, but the main idea is to take feedback from the user and see whether they like the product or not. What is their feedback? Sometimes they will be telling exactly what they need and if this is the right product for their need, or the changes are required or not. So these feedback will be taken by these people, and modification will be done again. So design is, as you see, this is a cyclic procedure. The next cycle, this design steps, that is problem understanding, solution generation, solution evaluation, will partially used again to make the product much better. So this phase is being done by various companies, big companies. They are doing it. They are making the product, taking to the customer, taking the feedback, and then try to improve it. And then again they are going to get feedback from the feedback of the user. Then they will try to modify it. So this is going to go on until and unless the company is satisfied, yes, most of the customers are happy with this product, and then we can plan to launch this product as soon as possible. However, this phase is really important because this is a phase where the customers can give real feedback to the designers, and designers can take feedback and modify their design. They also need to understand how they are doing it, how they are doing, right? And this feedback is important because after this, we are going to go for mass production. So this feedback is crucial to tell the people, to tell the designers that what the product is, how much the product is being liked by the users. So there are several techniques to do this one. What are the best ways? One is this batch produced parts, then production parts, working prototypes. So these are some of the products, some of the ways are there that we will learn in details. The best is basically the batch produced part, and the least preferred is the idea. So now, what are the steps for concept testing methods? The first step is to define the purpose of the concept test. Once we define the purpose, we are going to choose a survey population. Once we take the survey population, we are going to make a survey, and survey format we are going to find out. We are going to decide on that. Then communicate the concept. We are going to communicate this concept to the potential users or the testing people who are testing it. Then we are going to measure the customer response. Then we are going to interpret the results. So let us see, and after interpretation, of course, the reflection, that is reflection of the results and how you can improve it. So let us see the details in each of these in more detail. The first thing is define. Define is, do the customer like the product concept what we have made, and does the concept addresses the customer need? These are some of the questions which we can ask. We can also ask, what are the several alternative concept should have been pursued? How the concept is improved to better meet customer needs? So once we focus on our purpose of the test, we will know that everything is going to be to answer this question which we are taking for as a purpose of the test. Next is, once we define the purpose, we need to find out or fix on the number of people whom we are going to use as people who are going to test this concept. So now sample size, it is important, but finding out sample size, the right kind of sample size is not that easy, because there are various different kinds of web products. There are some products which are very specialized. So there a small sample size should be enough. Whereas there are certain products which is used by lakhs and lakhs of, which is supposed to be used by lakhs and lakhs of people. So there the survey size need to be much higher. So it starts from 10 people to 1,000 people, even more than that. So there are people who are doing research on this area, and they have set lot of different kinds of number for different kinds of survey. Once we have a population survey, like population ready, like how many people are going to survey, how to get those people is another tough task for very researcher. Going to them and pursuing them that this is what we are doing, some research. We are going to understand the user need, and you are one of the potential user, and we are going to ask you some questions. Okay, so will you be happy to give unbiased responses to this? Once we get this by people who are ready for this, then we can have a survey format. There are different kinds of survey: face-to-face survey, online survey, questionnaire. Questionnaire can be given as online or offline. It could be interactive, it could be non-interactive. Survey can be done individually. Survey can be done in group also. So there are various ways to do survey, and there are some statistical reasoning and rules for this also. We will not go much on this one, but the main thing is important that we are going to get this survey done. So Once we get the survey, we want to communicate the concept. When you want to express this concept to someone, we can use verbal description, we can use sketching. So verbal description, we describe this is the problem. So take for example, we have created a headphone which can be used with a mobile or with laptop and over the head. Now there are so many possibilities of this. So verbal description is not always a good idea. So a second possibility is a sketch. Once you sketch it and then you show it to the users. But sketching is often 2D. So sometimes it's not possible to understand everything. So then you go for photographs and renderings. Renderings are 3D renderings. It could be hand renderings, it could be computer generated rendering. Photos of the images, it could be of the product. Storyboard, you can write that one user is using a headphone, a photo of the user and a headphone is going to be there, and then you are going to show it to the user. That is another possibility, that we express in such a way the user get maximum amount of information, how they are going to use this product, how they are going to feel about this product. And the best thing is about always it is having something physical product done and show it to them. But sometimes not possible, because physical product, if it is small, it is easy to do, but if it is a large product like a car, we cannot make a complete car and then show it to the users. So a model may be required, or maybe photo may be required. So smaller product also, if it is very expensive, sometimes we cannot make it. So verbal description is good to have for some kind of solution evaluation. Sketch is better. Photos and rendering is 3D modeling, and it's CAD model you can do the simulation, and then you can make very realistic views of rendering, and then we can show it to the users. Storyboarding, where you can show the user as a user using the product, and that image of that you can make it as like a story, how you are going to use the product, and that you are going to show it to the user. Video is where you can make a video of a particular user using the product, or a simulation, animation, and then you show it to the user. This is what you are going to use this. Do you like it? Do you think any changes are required in the design? Because you are going to use this product from like the way I am showing you in the video. Next is simulation. Simulation is, there is a difference between simulation and animation. Animation is where you animate something. Simulation is actually simulate with respect to the laws of nature. So in animation, one component can go inside another component, but in simulation it cannot. So it is a technical analysis, and the simulation is also something like animation, however with all the rules which are followed. So you can make simulation also, you can show it to the user, okay, this is the way this product is going to function. Do you like it or not? Do you think it changes are required? Do you think anything which you need to change, when you are going to use it, do you suggest any changes? Then physical appearance models. Physical appearance model means you can physically make a product. You can use 3D printing or any other printing method or any other manufacturing method and make the product. You can make it a dummy or actually is working prototype. So the headphone, you can make one or few of the products, put the user in your head, and they can use the product and see how it is working. And when it is working, then they will feel that okay, the product is working, and so then they can evaluate with much better. So this is the best option. The best option is to actually evaluate with respect to the product which they are having in their hand. And these can be scaled model like a small car, or a 1:1 model like headphone. And then evaluation will be much more better, because they can feel the texture, feel the color, feel the weight, feel the performance. So this communication is important, and this is the various ways which you can communicate. Then measure customer response. Once you communicate, the customers, many of the customers will give direct response. Yes, they want to buy the product, or they may be buy the product. Somebody will tell, no, I am not interested in this product. Somebody will, yeah, I'll buy, but this modification could have been better. Somebody will tell, yeah, I'll buy the product, but not in this price. So there are so many things. Some people will don't tell anything, but they will express like this. Something like, yes, they're happy. So you can see their face also and see that what kind of assessment they are doing with respect to the product. And then you interpret the results, and then show it to the media, and then tell this is what we are going to do, and we are going to launch a little later of this product, and then again you will have a more understanding what exactly the users are supposed to feel. Then we have to reflect it. So finally we notice that that experience with the new product is how the user is feeling. You can see their faces, you can see the way they are expressing, what kind of comments they are putting in the assessment file. And you can see that in the future also this product will be likely or not, are there similar products or not, and then you reflect back and see whether this is the best product, and then modify it, try to modify the product and see whether it can be modified to make the product much better. Okay, now we are going to learn about preference of product testing with user. Preference of product testing with users. So of course the production prototype directly, if you can show it to the user, that is the best. So the first one is batch produced product, and this product we can take to the user for user feedback. So take for example, we are using one mouse. Somebody designed a mouse like this. And then we are showing to the user, and then they will understand this mouse, and they will feel it and use it. In case this is not possible, what is the next step? Next is we can have a production part. And this we can show it to the user for feedback. Now, if that is also not possible at this stage when we are getting the user's feedback, that time what we can do, we can actually take a working prototype. And then working prototype is a single prototype, but is working completely with all the features. And then we are going to go and take to the user and tell how they are feeling about the product. Does it really meet the need of them, or do they want any changes to be done on the product, any feature they don't like, any feature they like, and all this feedback that can be taken. So sometimes it is not possible even then the next less preferred, little bit less preferred compared to others is this model. Model is, it is just take for example the mouse. Here the previous one is production part is actually using the mouse. If you use the mouse, it will work in the computer, show it, click it, it will work. But a model of the mouse is not going to work. It is just that it is a, you can feel it, but it is not a functional model. If it is functional model, then we can tell this is a working prototype, but it's not functional model. And then we can show it to user and get some feedback. In case that is not possible also, we can have a scaled model. So scaled model are basically models which are small or in size with respect to the actual model. And where scale models are used, take for example, we are designing a tractor. So making complete 1:1 tractor, it will take a lot of time, it's expensive, even to make a model. So there we have a scale model, right? So smaller model we will use, and this scale model we are going to show it to the user that this is the tractor which we are going to use. Do you like the tractor or not? Of course it will have all the features shown. So if sometimes that is also not possible, then we will go for virtual model. So in virtual model there are three possibilities. One is digital twin. Digital twin is a model which is having all the features and the functionalities in the computer, and this is having all the features with respect to the functionality physically which is there. So it is a mapping of physical model into the computer, and all the laws of physics, everything is being taken care when making the model. So this we can show it to the user. Other option is AR, augmented reality. Augmented reality is where we will have maybe little bit part of the model physically and part of the model in computer. And when they are using VR set, the users can actually interact with the product, and they can have some kind of virtual feeling of the product. The next one is VR. VR is only completely virtual, so they can see it in virtual reality environment, see in the environment how the product is functioning and how the product will be there, what are things it can be done with the product. But this is a virtual model. So if that is also not possible, then we can have a CAD model. In CAD model, there can be two kinds of CAD model. One is CAD model means we can make a computer-aided model, which means that you can, previously people used to use AutoCAD, but AutoCAD is generally for 2D. It can be make 3D also, but nowadays making 3D is important. So you have SolidWorks, CATIA, NX. There are several other software, Solid Edge, Think3D. and then NX also, and then newer version. Then there are also software which are for industrial design, Bryce, then Rhino. So many softwares are there. You can make CAD model. In this CAD model, you can do either simulation. You can use actually simulation or without. Now, if that is also not possible, then next is, it is just that solution. Solution explanation. You explain the user that this is the way it is going to solve your problem. So depending upon the product. So this is, you explain the problem solution and then see the feedback. This is not a good way of getting feedback, but this sometimes if you require feedback early, and then that is what you should do. If that is also not possible, sometimes we tend to take feedback in the conceptual design stage. Then the conceptual design conceptual design solution feedback. Conceptual design solution you can use, and that can be feedback. And if nothing of this works out, then what are you going to do? In that case, we are going to have just idea, explain the idea. So if you see that if this is the case, ideally for concept testing, the best thing is to actually finish the product and go for the testing. So this is the from concept testing, this is the best, and this is the least preferred. But when you want to take evaluation in the design phase itself, in the conceptual space, so finally if you want to have the product tested, the best thing is the first one, and the least preferred is the 10th one. But when you are in the design stage, it's the other way around. The idea, explanation, concept, this you should go on testing, then you don't have to go to the final stage and test it. So before that you need to test it and then modify it. So this is the way we are going to do the testing.